everybody, it's Jenny McGurvey, and I thought I would share with you how I am planning in my daily pages in my Hobonichi Cousin. This is an A5, and these are a handful of the supplies that I'm going to be using this week, or at least that I'm choosing from this week. I'm not necessarily using all of them. Now, I have a similar layout every week that works really well for me. I like to put washi strips along the top or the bottom, and then on the left-hand side of the page, I like to have my appointments, activities, things like that. And then on the right-hand side of the page, I put personal to-dos on the top and work to-dos on the bottom. And then there's a little box at the very top next to the date that I put things that are sort of like must do, things that are, like really important for that day up at the top. Now I'm using these date covers from the sticker kit. These are from Nerdy Gal Studio, and I'm putting them over the days of the week. I mean, obviously I don't really need to, but they're included in the kit and they're cute and they go well, so I thought that I would add them, but obviously it's not entirely necessary. Now I'm using a really super old washi tape from Simply Gilded along the bottom, and it coordinates with the kit. I wouldn't say it matches, but it coordinates. And honestly, the little ghosts are too cute, so I thought that it would be very fun to use those across the bottom. So I usually start with the washi because then that kind of allows me to know how far I could add decorative elements, because that's usually the only thing that goes that far down when I am planning at the beginning of the week. You can also see that I am adding some of the washi type strips from the kit as well. They're so cute, both the words and the stripes that I already put down. And they are different widths, but I'm perfectly okay with that. It doesn't, each day is different, or at least each layout of 2 different days is different. So I'm totally cool with adding different things. Now on the right hand side, I'm putting the little thin washi up at the top. It just dresses the layout up a little bit more. I usually do this with a thin roll of washi. This is just a yellow one that I have in my stash. I like to do this because, like I said, it just kind of adds a little bit more decorative flair to the 2-day spread. And I mean, I have a ton of washi in my stash, so I might as well use it. Now I want to find some mild liners that coordinate with the colors in this kit. I have several colors of orange and a couple of yellows, and so I wanted to go through both of those that I have and find the orange and the yellow that coordinate best, and then I'll use the light blue and the sort of light aqua as well, because those all match in this kit and they'll go, and I'll be able to coordinate all the things. Now I'll add some decorative elements, and I'm going to, it goes in the lower left-hand corner, and then I also add some in the upper right-hand corner on the right-hand page. You'll see me do it. It's a little bit confusing, but I always do it in the lower left-hand corner because I don't usually have appointments and activities that go the entire column. So that's where I always put my little decorative elements. And I'm layering these this week, the According to Allie alcohol ink stickers behind the left-hand side box stickers. So yeah, it's kind of confusing to say, but I think you understand it when you see it. And I'm just adding all of these first, and then I will add the upper right hand a little bit later. Now on that Saturday, I actually used one of the boxes. I'm going to write the activity in there, but I really wanted that to stand out, so that's why I did it that way. Now you can see that we have just a blank open space now. So I am trying something new this week. I saw somebody that uses like a mild liner, and I can't remember exactly how they do it, and I don't think it really matters, right? Because I'm not doing it the same way. But so for example, like here, highlight it, write practice, and then right below, without any mild liner, I'll write the details, and so on and so forth. So appointment or those types of things, the same thing. This is a little difficult for me because not everything has like a category like that I write down. So I have to think a lot about this. Like I have to think a lot about what I'm going to put in that highlighted part. So it's just a different way of thinking. And while in the end, I may not love this, like I'll do it for a couple of weeks and I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm going to go back to what I've been doing, which is drawing in my own boxes. But what I do love about it is that it really helps me stretch my brain creatively when I do something out of the ordinary. So I find that often things become really complacent. I do the same things over and over again, and all of that is fine. That's absolutely fine. However, I will say that it becomes, my brain isn't being pushed creatively. So just trying something this simple helps me look at things in new ways, and I really do like doing that. So even if this doesn't end up being something that I love doing in the long run, it will still definitely help me in my creativity. Some weeks I don't get a lot done besides this really functional planning. And so that's one of the reasons why I like to make sure that I'm doing something creative, even if it's just using mild liners, because it helps me be creative, even though maybe I'm not memory keeping or I'm not, stamping or things like that. This helps me get some of that out, which I find that I really need that. I need to be creative in order to be my happiest self. So I'm writing all the things, and sometimes I don't know, for example, the time for a practice. I know there will be one because there is always one, but I don't know what time it will be. So I just leave a little space open for me to write the time, and then I write the rest of the part of the information that I like to include. And that's kind of the thing too, is that we each have to include the information that's necessary for us. I don't need the same information that you do, and you might need more or less than I do. I just write the parts that are necessary for me. I'm also using the clean color dot markers as little bullet points just to help each individual thing stand out a little bit more, because I'm finding that this is definitely a little less obvious, I guess, maybe than the boxes that I draw. Each individual thing definitely stands out when I hand draw the boxes. And in this way, not quite so much. So I definitely want to make sure I can have that happen as much as humanly possible. All right, so now we have the appointments, we have the decorative bits, and all of that. Then I write at the top the things that are happening that are noteworthy, that need to be remembered, those types of things. And now I'm going to go through, and in the right hand side, I'm going to use the mild liner just to draw some bars across the top. Then I'm going to use these incredibly old stamps from my stash, and I'm going to stamp to do and work on the mild liner bars, lines, whatever you want to call them. And obviously each day I will alternate the color of the mild liners that I use just to change it up, to make every layout look different. And again, that really helps me and my brain a lot to keep looking at the things that are written and all of that stuff, because that's how I keep track versus being complacent and being like, well, every day is the same. Why do I need to look at it, when in fact every day is not the same. So using the mild liner to add that little bar of color for each section, and then adding the stamping as well. I think I really like the stamping, and I typically really like these stamps a lot, but I think I would probably like this whole setup better if they didn't have the dots on each side of the word, if they were just the word to do and just the word work. So I probably need to go through my stash and see if I have anything that looks like that. Now I don't typically add those on Saturday and Sunday just because that's not something that I ordinarily add to my weekends. I'm not saying that I don't do things or have lists of things, but I'm not as regimented on the weekends because they're typically just personal things or one or two small work things that might need to be done. Now you can see those cute little ghosts up there in the right hand corner. So that's kind of what I mean by in the upper right hand of each layout, I like to add another little small decorative element just to bring a little bit more. And then again, honestly, when you look at the layout, then we have a visual triangle as well, having three little decorative bits on one layout. So this particular week, I'm using a lot of ghosts in that upper left, right hand corner, I'm sorry. And for some of the smaller ones, I'm adding two together, and then some of the larger ones I'll just add one, but they're really fun. It's just, I don't know, stamps are such a great way because once you purchase the stamps, you can use them a gazillion times and you don't have to repurchase them. They're not consumable, and I can use them with any color ink that I have in my stash, and so it can match all of the things. And it's just really freeing. It's very creative. It's cost effective. I think that stamping can be a lot of fun. And once you practice and get the hang of it, it is actually very, very easy to do. Now this stamp set has ended up being one of my favorites this season. The little ghost holding the sign and their cauldron, all of it is just positively adorable, and I've really had a lot of fun using these stamps. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you. Make it a great day.